Why women win arguments all the time. Come on now, somebody. There's something going on here. We got to figure this out. Come on, let's get it right this morning at 9 a.m.
Todd is not only a remarkable, successful 30-year titan in business with having multiple businesses that generate multiplied millions of dollars.
And if that plan happens to be to build $1 million company, which I can help you do.
But he's humble. He's a man of God. He's a family man.
The world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity.
He is an influential entrepreneur and business figure for over 30 years.
I've got to forecast. I've got to pronounce. I've got to project. I've got to share with you my ideas, my vision, my goals for not only myself, but for you.
That's why he came up with his incredible concept of taking and creating a platform for people that are wired differently.
And you got to understand that your habits of your person and your habits of your business and your habits of your spirituality have to lead to the North Star of who you are. We need to figure out who we want to be in life.
Oh, it's on. Come on. It's good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You know, you wear a black shirt and sometimes you get some lint. I got a roller that I should have out here just in case you get some lint. Listen, I got to tell you, we've had an amazing a week. I talked to you yesterday about the Detroit Lions. I talked to you yesterday about a lot of really cool, relevant things about Martin Luther King Day and things of that nature. And I had to take some time away from my studio because I didn't have a studio because of the tenting of the house and all that kind of stuff. And so I did the show yesterday from my Ford F-150 truck, my Shelby truck. Now it's just not an average truck. It's a truck with some real power. It's a collectible, and I love that truck so much. I want to just tell you, I had a great time in my truck with you yesterday. Today, though, I wanted to kind of shift things up a little bit. I wanted to change it around a little bit, and I had this idea about the Family Feud. I don't get to see this show very often. Who's the guy on that? Someone help me out. Who's the guy in Family Feud? Oh, Steve Harvey, a cool dude, lots of fun. And sometimes I get to I see the show every now and then because I go visit my parents in Angola, Indiana. So when I'm in Angola, Indiana, which, by the way, I'm leaving tomorrow for Angola, Indiana. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. High energy this morning. I'm doing it particularly for one of my friends out there, Gina Michael. She did her little podcast and she gave me a shout out the other day and she was like, high energy is not my thing in the morning, but I do watch this guy called Todd Saylor. And I did like, oh man, what am I getting myself into here? What's going to be said? And she goes, well, high energy is not quite my thing, but it's good for a lot of people. And I need it every now and then. And I do watch his show, but so give him a shout out. But she's got a really cool show that she's got coming out right now. Let me fix this real quick. And she's changed her time from, I don't even know where it was. I would catch her on a regular basis. She would pop up and, but now her show is at noon. So Gina, if you're watching out there, you get on this podcast, or you get to see what's going on out there, pop your show time and your daytime and your production time so people can know when they can see you on Facebook. She's a really cool lady, but she's not, like, her point is not everybody needs all this high energy all the time. And so I really find that intriguing because I'm a high energy guy and there are times where I just need to chill. And so that's when I'm literally at my best with her when I listen to her show. Her show is amazing. And she has this thing about being able to calm people down. Like me right now, I need to be calmed down because this earpiece is wearing me out. I need a timeout. Chad, he's my podcast coach, and he'll say, you worry too much about the little things. I said, I know, but I just don't want to feel uncomfortable. I got to put a lot of time into this today, and I want to make everybody happy, and I need to feel good for them to feel good. So, Gina, thanks for the shout out yesterday. Thanks for giving me some attention. I appreciate that. Our friendship is growing. Your husband, Chad, is my social media manager, and he's more than that. He's a friend of mine as well, and he helps me with these shows, and he's going to say, quit fidgeting with your shirt, quit fidgeting with your headset, just do the show, damn it. And I'm like, okay. Well, here's some energy for you this morning. Here's what I want to talk to you about. I thought, let's kind of get this show. Let's get in the show. Let's get it on, right? And so let's talk about a funny question, like a reason why women always win arguments with their parents, with their partners. And so I started watching. I go back to the story of the Family Feud, and I go to my parents and I watch Steve Harvey and the Family Feud, and I think the show is amusing. I think it's funny. Just do the show. I'm going to draw this thing out all morning, because Jacqueline says sometimes she wishes I would get to the point too. Well, if I get to the point too soon, then what are you going to watch? So anyways, the Family Feud's a fun show, and I watch it, and I get a lot of entertainment out of it because that's what all my parents watch when I'm there. And so the Steve Harvey guy, he asked this panel of guests of, what are the top 5, 10 or things if people are surveyed out of 100 people to interesting questions. And so I had this whole concept in my mind of how I could talk about this morning. And so I just posed the question for Family Feud of why women always win arguments with their partner. So why are women always winning arguments with their partner? So what are the 100 people are surveyed, right? And what are the top 10 reasons why women always win arguments? And I was spurred on by this because of my daughter and my wife and my granddaughter. Because I was thinking about the story a while back when I first got married, and actually her mother, right? I remember seeing her mother when we were dating, and I remember her mother and her father getting into a little bit of a conversation, right? And I watched the whole thing go down because, my dad always said, look at the mother of the woman you're going to marry, because that is the best telltale of what you're going to get. And so I remember this distinctly very well. And so the conversation was going down, and Gary, her father, and Janice were having a conversation. But these are not like throw down arguments. It was a disagreement argument. I'm like, oh man, I wonder how this is going to work. And Gary had some great points, and Jan had some great points, and Gary came back and he had a great point. And I thought, man, that's the knockout blow. I mean, there's no way she can get up and recover from that comment. As the air grew still and the silence in the air was the way it was, and I'm an outlaw. I'm not even married. We've just been dating around. Matter of fact, I don't even think he wanted me there. He looks at her. He looks at me. She looks at him. Then she looks at me, and she looks right back at her husband, Gary, my wife's father, my soon-to-be wife's father, and she says to him, well, we'll just see about that. And she walks away. Funny enough, time go around, we get married, and things are the way they are, and things are how they're progressing in life, and we get married, and we have one of these moments, and I'm having a conversation, it turns into some disagreement, and thing or this and that, and my wife kind of looks at me, and I remember this clear as day, and she says, at the end, I think I got the knockout closing point, and she looks at me, and she says, well, we'll just see about that. I don't know. Ironically enough, later goes on in life, and I have 3 daughters, right? I have 3 daughters, 4, Olivia now with us, one amazing young lady. But I remember one of my daughters, and I'm going through a conversation with my wife, and I'm kind of arguing a little bit with my daughter, and my daughter kind of looks at me, and I got the knockout punch again, and I'm like, this makes more sense. And she looks at me, and she goes, well, we'll just see about that. Well, what brings me all to this humor of what's going on here It's just this idea of how people and how the gypsy chick, right? And how women communicate and how women get through life and how this edge I seemingly think that they've had on all of us all this time. So I thought we would just have some kind of fun with it this morning about arguments and how women just tend to win the arguments. And it was really brought to my forefront because just the other day, to make this story even longer, I'm walking down the street and I have this conversation with my four-year-old granddaughter, Nora, and she looks at me and she looks at a for sale sign on the road and she says, Papa, how many dollars for that house? I'm like, well, I think it's $700,000. And she looked at me and she said, that's too much. I said, well, what is your budget for that? And she looked right at me and she said, $20. I had nothing but awe for this child to even have a conversation at 4 years old about a house and what it's worth and good worth. And I said to her, Nora, you can't get that house bought for $20. And she looked at me and she said, we'll just see about that. So why am I having so much fun with you about this morning? So I don't know, because I just wanted to look like literally have some fun this morning at 9 o'clock. I'm back in my studio. I got some quirks. I don't know what they were messing with some things, but I got some quirks in here. We're working them out. I hope it sounds good for you out there. Hi, how you doing, Gina, Chad, Jacqueline, Debbie? What a great day. So here's the thing. Let's just have some fun with this. The people that are here and having some fun with this. Here's the question. Name a reason why women always seem to win arguments. The top 10 reasons why women always seem to win arguments. All right, number 10. Number 10, type this down if you're out there having fun with me. Number 10, they have support from friends and family. Now, it's not like men don't have support from friends and family. It's not like men don't have friends. It's not like men don't have support. But when it comes to conflict or arguments, I will be the first to tell you that all of the women in my life collect together and they all will say, we'll see about that. I mean, it's like, you're taking on an entire tribe, right? It's just the way it is. Number 9, why do women win arguments all the time? True, they have better memory. They have better memory. They have better memory. Thanks for the shout out, Chad. It sounds great. I'm just getting a little buzz here. Number 9, they have better memory. So women win arguments. I wouldn't want to have an argument with Gina Michael. Like, I don't think she would ever even have to raise her voice, right? They have support from all the gypsy chicks out there. And I know for a fact she has better memory than Chad, which means she must have better memory than me. And my wife forgets very little, if anything at all, right? So understand. Number 7, why do women win fights? They have better communication skills. Did you get that one? Better communication skills. Well, they only need one. They just say, we'll see about that. And the horror comes about on us. Number 6, they play mind games. They can play mind. Now, I'm not going to put all women in the bucket of mind games, but literally, man, especially children. My little granddaughter, Nora. I mean, they got an angle. Got an angle. Number 5, they intimidate with their words. Now, not every man is intimidated. Not every woman is intimidating. But I would tell you this, if you take any woman and you get her to be quiet, a person of that stature, and you listen, which we need to do a better job doing, listening. Gina would teach you about that. She taught about that yesterday, listening, right? It's intimidating, because it seems like their thoughts are very deep. Now, this is Family Feud answers, and I'm making some fun with it right here. Now, doesn't mean I'm going to thoroughly endorse all these, because I do think men are great too. But at the end of the day, I've lived with women my entire life. Matter of fact, 80% of my workforce is female, right? My entire family, I have 4 daughters, 1 granddaughter, and God finally gave me 3 grandsons, and nobody wins in fights around this place but the women. I'm gonna just tell you right now. Number 4, they use logic and reasoning. So this is really a slam on women, on men, right? Because we don't use logic and reasoning. What? Of course we do. We use logic and reasoning. Sometimes. Number 3. Oh man, this is the worst one. This is the worst one. They get emotional. They can get emotional and they can cry. Let me try this. Maybe I got these on backwards, Jad. Get on with the show, damn it. I gotta tell you, man, it's not easy being me. It's not easy being me. And number 2, they use the silent treatment. That is the worst of all, the silent treatment. Listen, the silent treatment is how I feel right now with these podcasts. I just bought those brand new ones and I don't know what they're doing. I got to tell you. Chris said, Todd, you seem to do better on your shows now. You roll with things. Well, I got to tell you, there's a lot to roll with. We got a whole day ahead of us and I'm put this thing together because I wanted to have some fun with you. So women tend to win. Number 2, out of 100 people surveyed, why women seem to win arguments on more of the down low than men, because they have, number 10, they have support from friends. Not that men don't, but women really seem to gather together. My children, my women in my life are that way. Don't get the office mad at you, right? They have a better memory. Women seem to have a better memory. I'm not going to argue with that, but I'm not going to argue with any of these, right? They have humor to deflect, right? That's number 8. Number 7, they have better communications. Number 6, they play mind games. Now, listen, not all women, but they are capable of playing mind games. Number 5, they intimidate with their words. They do have words. Any woman that's willing to be quiet and listen and then fire back, I think can be intimidating to somebody or some way. Just think about that for a moment. And number 4, they use logic and reasoning, which men evidently don't in a lot of cases. They use silent treatment. Number 2, but the number one, drum roll, please. Let's see if I can do this for you. Drum roll, please. We'll do chimes. The number 1 is they bring up past events. Oh, no. See, if I had my headset in, I could tell you if this was playing or not. And I just want all this energy for Gina this morning. I want Gina to be up and around and roaring and getting out of the bed and getting it on like Donkey Kong, because this morning I got a little bit of a message for you. I want to talk to you about arguments. I want to talk to you about what's going on in your life and why are we arguing even at all, right? Why is there an argument situation that is involved in your life? And I think about this because I'm going through a lot, right? I mean, we're all going through something. And I thought, you know what? I'd ask the question this morning, what are you arguing with? What are you arguing about? What is it in your life that is argument heavy on you? Just take a moment and think about that. Because I think that we're all wrestling with something. I think we're all wrestling with something. I saw Jerry Seinfeld. Now, it's something Gina and I caught your show the other day, Gina. I thought it was great. Thank you so much. And I'm against the scroll. And you were talking about it's okay to scroll. And I just want to make it clear that I think that scrolling can be dangerous at a certain limit, because I want you to be focused. Last week, we had a situation where I really wanted you guys to have the homework. Who are you quietly listening to? Who is in your ear on a regular basis? And I think a lot of us spend way too much time scrolling and not getting focused on somebody that can influence you on a regular basis. Maybe it's 2 or 3 people, but I think that as we just get lost in the scroll, we can't get focused and we can't really drive forward with our dreams and our aspirations and literally have focus and understand, what do we truly want in life? One of the things Gina talks about in her show is, what is it that you want? And she says, sit in it, waft in it, let it come to you, right? Let it come to you. We can't always be running around looking for things in that regards and making things happen in our life. Most of the best things come to us because we've prepared the pot, we've created the pipeline, and those opportunities open up for us. So I wanted to just kind of double down on that and figure out, what are we arguing? What are we arguing about with our life? Is it what we want? Because generally everything that we want in life comes to us. Almost a hundo. And so if we're scrolling too much and we're just continuing to search and we're continuing to search and we're continuing to search, we never get in that mode of capturing, right? We have to capture. We have to capture something. But when it comes to seeking, when it comes to scrolling, when it comes to looking, when it comes to all those things that my good friend Gina talks about in her show, listen, this is a quick commercial for Gina, the gypsy chick on Facebook. Go watch her. I mean, she is the perfect complement to my show because we're not going to always align, but we're going to be aligned, right? Because we know the Lord. And we're not going to always be aligned because I'm going to be energy and she's going to be calm, right? What I think about, I never really thought about it, Gene, but we're like a great podcast, yin and yang, right? We complement each other. So here's the thing: what are we arguing with in our life? What are we wrestling with in our life? The Bible says if we're wrestling with God, then you know that you're in a good place. If you're wrestling with God, you know that you're in a good place. Talks about that in Solomon. And a good friend of mine by the name of Dennis Prager talked to me about that very quote in my third book, Your Will Be Done. And there's a quote in there when I was talking to him about, I was wrestling with God. I was kind of arguing with God. I was like, why can't you make this clear? And of course, he's an Old Testament guy. And he said, have you read Job? I said, yes, Job. I mean, that guy was constantly, Job 13:3. He says, God, I want to have a talk with you right now. As a matter of fact, he says, I have an argument for you, God. Job literally had all kinds of things going on with him. And he just called it out. He says, God, I want to have a conversation with you. I want to have an argument with you. I mean, so what are you wrestling with right now in your life? What are you wrestling in? What's going on in your life right now? There's a wrestle moment, an argument moment. And that's why we kind of had fun with the top 10 reasons why women always win. It's just it's just one of those things to kind of get your mind thinking, right? Oh, Todd's not a sexist. Come on, man. I got women. It's all that's true. They're smarter. They're practical. They have logic. They can give you the silent treatment. They do bring up past events. They can play mind games better than us. They have better communication skills because they only need one word is no. And we'll see how that happens. They use humor to deflect because some things that just they don't like. Women don't carry, at least my women in my life aren't carrying stuff around, and they do have a great group of people around them. Men seem to be loners at sometimes. So the point of the matter is today is Jeremiah 29:13 says, what are you seeking? Right? If we're scrolling and we're looking through things and we're seeking things and we're finding ourselves in conflicts and we're finding ourselves in arguments, not only with just other people, but more importantly, arguments with ourselves, right? Why is that? Why is that? And so what I wanted to throw at you this morning is I wanted you to just kind of think about who is that person or people that you're following on the reg? Are you following a person like a Gina, the gypsy chick? Are you following me? You're following me. I think it's great. I appreciate that. I want to be open to all of you and all these reasons. But who else are you following? Right? Who else are you challenging yourself or arguing yourself with? Who else are you putting out there to be in front of you, right? To put you in a position to have an argument. Now, an argument isn't necessarily an argument of veracity. An argument is a debate. An argument is a conflict of question, right? An argument can be posed because you want to be proved wrong or right. An argument is this posture, right? This posture of wondering how you can grow, right? You can't grow without argument. So get out of your mind that all arguments are bad. Some arguments are good. Most good arguments benefit both sides of the party because the argument is the process that brings us to a new place, right? We had a quote yesterday, we walk through darkness and it has shaped us, right? the GM of the Detroit Lions, said, we have walked through darkness for many years and it has shaped us. Martin Luther King says, we had walked through darkness and we had shaped us. He didn't say that, but it was the comment we use in difference in regards to Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement, right? Plenty of arguments in darkness. Darkness is embroiled, right, with arguments. And so when we talk about arguments, arguments come from seeking. And all I really want to do is bring to you one point this morning was, who are you seeking through this argumentative phase? Who are you seeking through this searching phase? Who are you seeking? Who are these people on the world that you're following that will shape you through your darkness? Because if you have too many scrolls, you have too many people, you never really get shaped. You tend to get confused. So I just want to continue to, from a leadership perspective, I want to tell you from a successful leadership perspective that I can tell you for a fact, too many voices in your ear, too much scrolling, too much stuff out there is going to jade you. And more importantly, it's going to cause you to not have focus. It's going to cause you not to have any real projection. It's going to cause you not to have any goals. It's going to cause you to be in a spin, right? It's going to cause you to drift, continue to drift. So I wanted to continue to double down on this as I did last week and tie in this idea of arguments and bring to you this seeking of someone to follow, this seeking of how to make sure you're on the right path. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Ezra. You guys, good to see you guys. A little late getting up this morning. I know your time differences. How you doing, everybody? Gina, good to see you on here. I know I'm stretching you out here a little bit. Jacqueline Krause, good to see you. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Chad, Heather, Chris, Shane. Oh, man. So here's the thing. I started the show with some uplifting, fun energy, right? And I just want you to know that we're always going to give that to you. And then we decided to play a little game called the Family Feud today. And we named the top 10 reasons why women always win arguments. And we parlayed that on the top of my good friend, Gina Michael and the Gypsy Chick on Facebook. Get to there. Come on, someone in here, put Gypsy. Gina, if you're still out there, put your Facebook link in there so people can see you and go hear you. She is a very calm, brilliant, bright, non-confrontational, understanding, listening person. She is the complete opposite of me. I think, oh my gosh, but what if we work together, right? So here's the thing I want to just give you. Jeremiah 29:13. Here's what I want to leave you with this morning. I really do. I want to leave this with you. Then you will seek me and require me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. Then you will seek me. Okay. After the arguments, after the top 10 reasons why men are getting destroyed in arguments with women, after the confrontation, after the conflict, after the idea, after the questions, it seems like then you will seek me and then you will require me and then find me when you search for me. Not just search for me, but when you search with me with all your heart. Two pieces in this verse that I just want to make sure that you understand. God is calling us to search him. God is saying in Jeremiah 29:13, I love you, Gina, and your message inspired some of this for me, and I talked about it the previous week, but God is calling us to scroll him. Right? Are we scrolling God? Are we literally thumb stopping God? Are we scrolling? I mean, we talk about it. Chad and I talk about it. Chris and I talk about it. What's going to interrupt we're in the very business of stopping people's thoughts and making them think about us and follow us. I mean, there's no secret. That's what we're doing. We think our message is more important than the next message someone's going to put in front of somebody. And everyone's out there scroll. Who am I going to stop on? Who am I going to stop on? But here's the deal. Jeremiah 29:13 says, hey man, listen, I know you're going to argue out there. I know the women are going to destroy you in arguments. I know this is all going to happen. I know these debates are healthy. I know all this is going on in the world, but I want you to understand that, listen, the scroll for the role is me, God. The search is for God, because it says in Jeremiah 29:13, this is before Christ even was walking around on the planet, God doing all the things, setting up for Christ. And he's saying, listen, then after all the arguments, after everything that's going on, Job went through it, everybody's going through it. He says, listen, then you will seek me. and require me and find me when you search for me. Not just search for me, but search with me for me with all of your heart. So that's the challenge this morning on a Tuesday, on a Family Feud Tuesday, is who are you scrolling? What are you searching for? How many people are in your mind path? Who is that focus? Slow the scroll, right? Seek God first. He is your scroll. Because when you seek God and require God and find God, it will be when you search for him or scroll for him with all of your heart. Now, listen, you guys, I appreciate the fun this morning, but I'm out of here. It's been 30 minutes, and I know there's been some good stuff in for here. So let me tell you, tomorrow I will be on a plane at 9 o'clock in the morning. We lift off at 9. So why don't you have a prayer for me at 9 o'clock tomorrow? Because I won't be on the show, but the plane will literally, we have a 9 o'clock flight out of Tampa, and I'm taking my baby with me, and I will not be arguing with her. And my daughter's coming, Kara. There's 2 against 1. It's always that way because we know they collect they pick on daddy-o. So anyways, I just want to tell you how much I love you. And I want to tell you that Thursday, I will be back to wrap up the week. Have a great day this morning. Off to the gym we go. I'll talk with you soon. Make sure God is your scroll.